Okay, here we go. So this I have seen before, so this is a commentary, not a commentary plus reaction like some of the other videos I've done similar to this. So I'm just going to talk about my thoughts on it already knowing what's going to happen. And there are tons of uploads of this on YouTube, not one single one, so I would say just look up whichever one looks, I don't know, the most high quality if you want to go watch this. That copyright there that says 2012, I think is just the copyright on the particular title cards being used. Because I believe for a while this was a lost film, and when it was found without the title cards, and then those were found later. I appreciate the music. The secret of life. It's interesting how the footage has a misty quality to it. That background is totally painted. Because look at how flat it appears. Just before. I like that it's a sepia tone rather than a straight up black and white. This version anyway. I'm sure there are restored versions where it looks more black and white. Or maybe even a colorized version by this point. I'm honestly not sure. Okay, let me read it. Sweetheart, tonight my ambition will be accomplished. I have discovered the secret of life and death, and in a few hours I shall create into life the most perfect human being that the world has yet known. When this marvelous work is accomplished, I shall then return to claim you for my bride, your devoted Frankenstein. I don't like the word claim being used, but it's the year 1910. I will excuse it. Really nice cursive, whoever wrote that. Oh, error in the film there. The evil in Frankenstein's mind creates a monster. Yeah, it comes back to that, that viral post that's originally from Tumblr, I think, where someone was like, you know, what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, not the monster. And wisdom is knowing that Dr. Frankenstein was the real monster because the creature didn't really do anything. I mean, depending on what adaptation you're talking about. Oh yes, this scene. It's funny how he has that in a closet. It's a glorified closet. Okay, so this scene is just chef kiss. I love the way that this effect is done, and I think I know exactly how they did it as well. What I think is that for this creation of the creature moment, I believe they took a puppet and and burned it. And as it was burning and collapsed into the, whatever that is, a cauldron or something, they then took that footage, and what you're seeing in this scene is that footage backwards. So it looks like it is coming together, but it's actually backwards footage of the puppet coming apart. I'm pretty sure that's how they did that. Like, I'm not a historian, I'm not a film historian, I don't necessarily know everything about the history of special effects, but my educated guess is that that is how it was done. And I like the whole pulling up and down of the arms rather than just having it be completely still, because it adds a little bit more life to it. It looks incredibly fake, obviously, from a modern perspective, but to an audience in 1910, you would have had nightmares for months. And they do make quite the effort to have the puppet looking like the actor in the costume as the creature, who we will see in just a bit. Love the music. I know I've said that already, but I can't say it enough. Appalled at the sight of his evil creation. They keep using the word evil. Like, the creature that didn't ask to be created is just evil simply because of existing and not looking perfect. Which is like the real, well, I don't want to say the real point, because, death of the author concept, it's mostly subtext, I would say. But I also say that as someone who has not read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I have only heard a lot of great explanations on the message in the book versus where the movies took it, the different movies that there have been. And then just disappears. In the early days of film, so many of the actors were off of theater, so they had a very theatrical way of acting, because they were still trying to figure out how to translate how you would act on a stage to acting on a set. That characterization is very interesting. Like, you were very horrified at what you created, and yet you're sort of walking in there almost like with a prideful stance. Oh, this scene. Yep. Here we go. I like this part of the song a lot. The placement of the mirror is very clever, because we see the creature a few seconds just before Dr. Frankenstein does. And it's already established in the scene how much of the room the mirror is reflecting. So you're just waiting for the moment that the creature looks in the mirror, because it's such a large mirror that the audience's eyes are drawn to it. So of course the creature, who is actually in the room, will be drawn to it and will see itself. The costuming is very interesting, like the shoulders being made extra sort of broad, but it goes all the way around to the back, almost a little bit hunchback looking. Yep, and there's the moment. And the absolute, like, horror of, like, this is what I look like. Which was in one of the future Universal Frankenstein sequels. That scene was emulated where the creature sees itself in the mirror. It's more drawn out and it's a little bit better done than it was here, but if you didn't have the scene here, you never would have had that. Let me just look at the time here. Alright. I love the whole, like, everything's fine. Don't worry, my new wife. There isn't something terrifying stalking us. What do you mean? Everything's just peachy. If I don't think about it, it's not a problem. Ugh, how far hubris goes. Ooh, little jumps in the footage there. That whole background looks painted too. Oh, yeah, she fainted. Alright, I'm gonna pause at the next title screen. It just helps me with the editing for the clips to not be too long. Alright. Creation of an evil mind overcome by love and disappears. Yeah, creation by an evil mind. But the creature's mind was never evil. And that's why it's so easily overcome by love. I get it. I get that this is a very short adaptation that's more for spectacle and why would I read into it. But like the story of Frankenstein, no matter which adaptation you're thinking about, still has that profoundness if you look for it. I love this effect as well. Disappearing but is still present in the mirror. Like he's fading away from reality. And the creature, just for a moment, was a reflection of himself. And then it fully disappears. The end. I'll let the music play for a little bit more. Originally released 18th of March, 1910, Thomas Edison. Yeah, this was an Edison film. Based on the novel by Mary Shelley. Thank you, Mary, for this absolute classic. Makeup design, Charles Ogle. That's a funny last name. Okay. Remastering and new inner titles. Yeah, new inner titles. That's what I thought. Danse Macabre. So that's the music. Okay, so that wouldn't have been the original music then. I don't think. I think I said everything that I wanted to say. Except for the fact that I briefly mentioned this was a lost film at one point, so we are incredibly fortunate to have it, to be able to watch now and have it be accessible on YouTube to watch for free. There must be a colorized version of this out there by now as well, I think. Or if not, there's definitely one that's gonna come about eventually. There is another lost Frankenstein adaptation that is from 1915, I believe. And what was interesting about it is that from what I found out, it was not titled Frankenstein, it was titled Life Without a Soul, which I think is very interesting, and that's why I'm really bummed out that that one is a lost film. But if this one was found, that one can be found as well. Let's keep our hopes up that it will be, and thank you for watching this commentary. And if you haven't seen it on your own, I would encourage you to do so. I will see you next time.